Hello team and welcome back to another Line War cast. This is your map today. It is a 1v1 in the 2023 T2 tournament. It's tournament season for Line War. The game today between VYSHKA in blue and Dåseåbneren in red. Props to someone said that my nickname sucks for organizing a lot of the bracket, and also props to each and every one of the players who have entered, taken time out of their days to play Line War games. Best of threes in the round robin to start off with. I will link the bracket in the description. And both players are going to spawn on the left side of the map. Dåseåbneren's got two factories in town, and we can hear VYSHKA putting down their two factories after opening refinery with a depot. And the third factory, for me, makes me feel like blue is going to go for three factories all going tanks. Each and every one of them. There's an artillery piece being made right now, but certainly by going for this early refinery immediately, it would make more sense to start building tanks. We'll see what VYSHKA decides to do. Dåseåbneren is the first player to build a barracks in between the two factories and also has a port on the way. So red's income is going to be quite a bit higher than blue's because of that investment in the town and the port. And long term, Dåseåbneren probably had an advantage because they are more to the middle of the map and can potentially box in VYSHKA here. VYSHKA's only real way to expand is to go up to the north, which is starting to happen. And the intense line war music. This is the only part of the map that is going to matter, I assume, for the next few minutes. And now both players are going to match each other on production. 3 factories, 1 barracks. Still artillery pieces from blue. Here comes the first tank. First two, or rather, this is still an artillery piece. Just 1 tank for blue at the moment. Dåseåbneren doesn't have any energy, so we won't see any tanks from red. And VYSHKA's digging in, which is probably not to blue's advantage right now. Because red's expanding this whole time, and then blue is expanding a little bit, but it's not as quick. And anytime all these units are kind of stuck in the defensive lines, they're not expanding and getting more territory. I mean, it's a pretty nitpicky thing for me to bring up because this is Dåseåbneren after all, so it's probably smart that blue is respecting red. Because I've lost tons of games against Dåseåbneren in a close spawned, match where you don't really take the threat super seriously. And it will become a question of whether the blue tanks can do enough damage before Dåseåbneren starts to snowball on the economy, and then we'll just be able to push this over. Income-wise, it's 350 for blue and 415 for red. And the geography of the map is quite interesting. Gotta love Line War because these mountains and forests. So whoever takes control of this position is at an advantage because if you dig in mountain ranges, you get huge defensive and attack bonuses from those defensive lines. Because I believe it's still bigger than if you dig in open field. And both armies relatively the same size. 2 tanks now out for blue. The only real opportunity that VYSHKA is going to have to use these things is to move along this open terrain and then through this gap towards the town. Otherwise, I find it difficult to imagine how the tanks are going to get much done. They're really not going to do all that well in the mountain and forest because of their reduced move speed when they're in there. And this is going to be just fine. Dåseåbneren is going to be able to hold here. I don't even have to look at it. We already know. It's good if VYSHKA is pushing up forward, and if they could get dug in this part of the mountain range with their artillery pieces, that would actually be pretty decent, I think. With a three deep defensive line of artillery or of infantry there. Because it would force Dåseåbneren to go through the mountains fully, which would expose their producers here. Dåseåbneren clearly not that worried. I mean, the entrenchments make it look like blue isn't going to push, so it makes a lot of sense. This is a relatively close industry for red to be making. And it's about to be 6 tanks out for blue, who has plenty of energy to make a push here with the tanks, or a run by. 500 income for red, 400 for blue. And the barracks in the back is a big deal, because this is going to speed up red's expansion and how quickly they're going to be able to cap the right-hand side. And there's no barracks like an expanding barracks for blue yet. And this is the trade-off, is that blue's going to go for another factory, so the push will need to be pretty big. Because blue's going to have to actually, like, break this position. One single artillery piece doing its best job. Just working away. Okay, so no more. It's not in there anymore. It's gonna pack up. And back down. So this is, like, kind of tough because I don't think this defensive line... If the idea was that the blue artillery weren't gonna have time to dig in the mountains, they're still not really gonna have time to dig in this open field. It's just not far enough away from the front lines. Like, they're gonna get dug in, but they're taking fatigue damage as they're digging in. Gotta love the arty blob from Dåseåbneren working its way through the mountains. Well, actually, we can see what VYSHKA's vision is like. Yeah, so all the red artillery pieces are seen. Because there is a chance that because they're in the mountains, they would actually be hidden from view. Tanks are going to try to bust their way through this forest. But they're probably going to... yeah, they're just going to attack the artillery pieces. Because they are in range of this. And it is an attack line that's being used. Okay, so now that this entrenchment's gone, I think this Dåseåbneren's probably going to push. Even with these units in the bottom. Huge play. I didn't even see it. So this will destroy the refinery. That is certainly going to go down. Luckily for blue, there is still a depot that has some amount of energy to keep these tanks running. But blue is officially on a timer with the energy. Putting down another factory. Probably going to be a switch to artillery pieces. And yeah, so this is what it is. Which is really the only thing and the best thing that VYSHKA could do at this point. 450 income for blue, 619 for red, who's starting to build more industry on the right-hand side, and now an airport. Defensive lines in action, but they still won't be able to do with just how many artillery pieces this is. And this airport could really build anything, but it's probably going to be helicopters. I assume it's going to be helicopters, and then Dåseåbneren's going to build this refinery or potentially one of these to the far right. VYSHKA's progress to the north is, like, relatively decent if we take a top-down look. Still a lot more that red is going to be able to cap more easily than blue. So defensive line's got a buff in the last patch, but not such a buff that they're going to be able to handle this. This is way too many artillery pieces here for red. One tank might be able to get by, but Dåseåbneren actually already sees this. Yeah, there's just so many units here for red that the tank's already spotted. And VYSHKA's going to try to build this refinery again. Dåseåbneren taking a town on the right-hand side. I wouldn't even be surprised if red were to put down another barracks on the right-hand side of the map. Or even a dock here to get across to the north. Unluckily for VYSHKA, there's no refinery at this location yet, and it is helicopters from Dåseåbneren. If all 5 of these tanks grouped up and fought here with the help of the artillery pieces, there might be a chance that VYSHKA could at least like stop this first army from continuing to push. But it would just be difficult to handle the follow-up. And worst case scenario for Red, they just dig in this mountain range. Get all the buffs we've been talking about, hold the airport. And probably just win. Full artillery switch from all 5 of the factories. What are we seeing? Why is it like... Why did they go down and they went out of the factory again? Maybe they just got toggled off. I don't know. That was weird, but it's all artillery for blue. There's not really much else that it can be. Because it's so risky for blue to continue making tanks when this refinery's on a territory that's now being capped by the enemy. So tough spot for VYSHKA. And Dåseåbneren's got another town on the right-hand side. 480 income for blue, 741 for red. First helicopter done for Dåseåbneren, who still has not put down a refinery anywhere. But with this garrison, it's probably going to be here. So like, what is that? 250-ish income difference? I probably butchered that math. I don't care. I can't do math. You know this. You've seen enough of these casts. So this one, this is a red victory that we're watching. We're just gonna watch it close out here. There's nothing that VYSHKA could do to come back from this position at this point. And Dåseåbneren's got another barracks in the south. Someone in Twitch chat like a month ago said that they should add like flying battle cruiser things in this game. Like hero units like that. The only thing that VYSHKA could play right now is the battle cruiser strat. Bring in the new unit that no one's ever seen. A rocket wouldn't... I mean, a rocket might be able to do something if blue magically had a rocket right now to be able to take out all these buildings. Because VYSHKA's vision kind of sees it. Even if it was right here, though, I'm not sure if it would even get all 5. $522 income for blue and $856 for red. And Dåseåbneren is just holding on to those helicopters. Those faint outlines of the the white lines that you see that look like a track and field track. Weird sentence, but they're just the lines of units responding to the underlying commands here for red. I think the hotkeys V to turn them off. If you wanted to learn something more about all the replay features that we have in Line War, V to turn off those white lines. When I see this, I wonder what sort of technologies will happen in the game with what you could do with artillery pieces. I don't know if there's a planned technology or a potential technology for artillery pieces specifically. I know the idea of tanks turning into infantry fighting vehicles that can move infantry around or tow artillery pieces. I think the tow artillery pieces one is on the Line War website, in fact. Either way, would be very cool. 3 helicopters is... I think it is enough to destroy this in one go. Yeah, it is. as long as they have the time to hover over the target. So we saw that red has a refinery now. Second airport for Dåseåbneren. And red's hit over 1,000 income. Nearly doubling VYSHKA. I mean, credit to VYSHKA for just falling back and building more. And has, like, some economy here to play this out. Never surrender, never give up, never surrender. That's what we say. The line war music, it must mean it's an intense moment in this game. Because I read somewhere that the music only comes on like intense situations. Or when there's like a battle about to happen. So there must be a battle about to happen. A battle between two blue barracks and a whole red army. Or factories, rather. So here comes commando drops from Dåseåbneren. Transport plane on the way. And, the transport plane was the unit that broke the camel's back, so to speak. GG. Well played both. Props to both these players for entering the tournament and for playing these games out. Like I said, someone said that my nickname sucks. Shouts out to them as well for organizing. We'll cast more of these tournament games. I'm excited. All 1v1s. You know I love that. I hope you have a wonderful night, day, evening, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever it is, wherever you are. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.